Hey, stay right there. I hope you know who I am, and I'm about to bring on a guest who is the most useful guest in an area that everyone makes very vague or foggy or fuzzy, and fuzzy targets don't get hit. Now, today's topic is all about guerrilla publicity fundamentals, and the key word here is fundamentals because I want you to have fun instead of focusing on duh or mental. I want you to have fun. And it's a very special type of publicity because if you are in publicity, I mean no offense about what I'm about to say. Brace yourself, shut your ears if you're offended easily. If you're easily wounded and you're in publicity or you're a publicist, shut your ears now. Okay? I'm giving you fair warning. Guerrilla publicity is accountable. Now, accountability came from the ancient Roman days where the Roman senators, now there were no senator-ettes back then. Maybe Rome wouldn't have fallen if there were women running the government. I'm not kissing up to all the women in this hangout. I'm the only guy here right now, but you'll see why. But Rome used to have senators stand up, and I actually stood there in Rome, in the city of Rome. It was an empire. And 2,000 years ago, they would stand up just to say that they were present. And that would be called accounted for, the ability to be accounted for. And most publicists, I know, it may not be you if you're watching, most publicity mavens, experts, gurus, whatever you want to call them, they don't have accountability structures set up. Their tactics and tips are ethereal. In fact, they're about top of mind awareness. They're just about getting publicity. So if you see a name like Ford or maybe Chrysler, that's just for cars. How about McDonald's? If you're getting publicity out there, let's say for the Super Bowl, how much sales is that accounting for? That's not direct response. That's not guerrilla. And the type of guerrilla we're talking about here, by the way, this is not a guerrilla like, hoo, 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 right? It's not a monkey. It's not an ape. A guerrilla, as in guerrilla battlefield. Now, the late J. Conrad Levinson, who literally lived 5.5 miles from where I'm sitting right now in San Rafael, California, he was a dear friend of mine, still is a dear friend of mine, smiling right now probably. And Guerrilla Marketing is one of the books and series he wrote, but with many, many authors, Seth Godin for one. And I'm going to introduce you to the guerrilla publicity maven. Happens to be a woman, right? But it could just as easily be a man. I'm not as good as what she does in what she does, and I want you to have access to her. So if you're one of her guests, welcome. This is what it looks like to be on an Alex Mondosian hangout, so be prepared. If you are not accountable like a Roman senator, then your business will fall because you will be throwing good money after bad, bad money after good. You will not have the perfect message to market match. And what will happen is you will be playing pin the tail on the donkey with your marketing dollars with a blindfold. Today, if you listen carefully and grab a pencil, now this is one that's not used. I want to show you one that is used. It's a little different, right? Less eraser, that's a good thing, and I've used a lot of lead. I'm old school. I'm like the 8-track tape. You know, I don't even use a pen. I think that's too new. I don't use this to take notes. I'm not connected to my paper. So I'm going to ask you to write, just like I've done with these markers or with your pencil or pen, and take notes because you're about to learn accountable publicity tactics. We call them guerrilla. And guerrilla comes from warfare. The reason the Americans won the revolution, I believe, was because of guerrilla marketing tactics. And guerrilla marketing tactics are guerrilla warfare. Now, instead of taking lives, you end up taking prospects and clients. And what the Americans did, if you know some of the history, is with pitchforks and really a weaponry that was obsolete because they couldn't get their hands on it. And even, you know, they had the same guns and weaponry that is, you know, fruitless and needless, but, you know, they had a revolution against England, right, and King George. Think of this. The United Kingdom sent over people in red suits. They call them the redcoats. Now, normally, you want to blend in with the environment, but these guys were wearing red coats, and they would literally get in a line where there was no space between them, and they would get on one knee, and there would be another group in back of them, and they would shoot. Well, that's not a way to live. Now, what the Americans did is they did guerrilla warfare. What they did is they snuck up on the redcoats. Now, all's fair in war, or are there, rules of engagement with war? I have no idea. That's beyond the scope of the philosophy of this hangout. But just know that a peasant can win a nation, like we did almost 300 years ago. And if you are at the peasant level with money and budget, you can win the war in marketing, because marketing is war. Only nobody dies. You go broke or you don't go broke. That's what happens. So your wallet dies, but your life is still there. And guess what? You can make mistakes again and again and again. The more mistakes you make, the smarter you get. So I want to make it clear, this is about guerrilla publicity. And why publicity? Is because publicity is free. That's what makes this so exciting. And usually, if you pay a publicist or a PR firm, public relations firm, they're getting publicity, but you pay them a retainer. Now, retainers of $100,000 a month, $50,000 a month, $5,000 a month. They don't have courses on how to do these things. They don't have action guides and resources. You're going to get a resource in exactly 30 minutes. 33 minutes after the hour, I'm going to ethically bribe you to stay here, because I'm going to give you a link that is no opt-in. Those were the rules of engagement. And if you like what we had to say, then my guest and I are going to have a joint venture, her to her tribe, me to my tribe, and we are going to promote each other. That's called a joint venture. Now, I don't like to do those blind, like pin the tail on the donkey. I like to see if I meld with their tribe, and I like to see if they meld with mine. Make sense? Now, my tribe knows what they're doing, because they often hear this. But if you're new, then I want to welcome you, because all I want you to do is grab your keyboard and grab a mouse, and the first thing you do is, whether you're on your iPhone, where's my iPhone? I can't, oh, here it is, your smartphone or whatever, what you do is you type in your name and where you're hanging out from. I'm Alex Mondosian. I'm hanging out from San Francisco, California. San Rafael, to be precise. It's in Marin County, just north of the Golden Gate Bridge, and I literally live less than 5 miles away from my guest, who is not living at home, and I want to welcome Jill Lublin. Jill, welcome. Where are you right now?
Hey, thank you. I'm so glad to be here. And here right this minute is in Dallas, Texas at the eWomen Network Conference. Having a lot of fun.
Okay, what is the eWomen Network Conference? Because I want to give them publicity. Some of the folks there have been supporting us. Why eWomen? And is there an eMen's network too, or just eWomen? What's the deal?
Yeah, well, men are allowed. You're awfully cute, so why not? And you're called E-Man in the eWomen world. And what it really is a group of incredibly dedicated professional businesswomen who are making a difference in the world. And our motto, just so you know, is give first, serve always. So that's pretty cool. And imagine 1,500 of us in one place in Dallas, Texas. I'm having a blast.
Well, I want to demonstrate to you, we just did some guerrilla publicity on a hangout in front of hundreds, eventually thousands of people, and we're giving a shout out to eWomen Network. Now, did they pay anything for that? No. Did they get relationship capital from us? Yes. Am I going to share that with the founders? Yes. Do I want them on this show? Of course. That's what publicity can do. So I'm going to throw a curveball at you, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to ask a question I didn't ask, but I'm going to tell you what the question is, and that is the difference between guerrilla publicity and guerrilla marketing. And just a hint, this costs money, this doesn't, but I want you to tell me what the difference is. Before you answer that question, time out, I'm giving her time to think about it. So if you do Hangouts, which is a great guerrilla publicity strategy, give your guests some time to think about the answer, because if they're a pro, they'll come up with even a better answer when they're put on the spot. So that's what she's doing now. I want to first welcome Nancy Jutton. Nancy from Bellevue, Washington. Jill Lublin is excited. She checked in. Dr. Allen hanging out from the Berkshire Mountains in Massachusetts. Julianne Blake. Hi, Alex. So happy to be with you, Dr. Julianne. Christina Daves. Greetings from Virginia. So please, if you want to hear your name, which should be one of the sweetest sounds to your ears, please state your full name and where you're hanging out from. Alex and Jill, Manju Tirani from India. Welcome. Satnam. Now, the bottom line here is guerrilla marketing versus guerrilla publicity. I love guerrilla marketing. You knew J. Conrad Levinson. You still know him. What's the difference between the two? Tell us.
Well, first of all, guerrilla marketing, think of it as the tree, right? There's a tree. It grows big. It grows all over Brooklyn and everywhere around the world. And that was a takeoff on a tree grows in Brooklyn, by the way. But what we're talking about is marketing as a general concept. Big umbrella. Think big umbrella. Think big tree. Think from the trunk to the sky and the heavens above. Publicity is one of the branches. So publicity is a branch of marketing, powerful, drives prospects, drives profits, makes your visibility happen. That's what publicity focuses on, and it's free. And just like Alex says, guerrilla marketing is what's going to drive business and cost you a lot more money. So that's why we're focusing on publicity, to help you make a lot more business with a lot less money and a lot less cost. That's a good thing.
That is a good thing, and I want to welcome Burhan Pate from South Africa. Welcome. We have an international group, and this is free. This is a publicity strategy. We're doing a Google Hangout, and we are joint venturing with Google and YouTube. That's Big Daddy, Google, and Big Mama, YouTube. I don't know what Facebook is, but probably the illegitimate child of the royal family. All right, Facebook is number 3 and is no longer the biggest social network. YouTube is. Linda Lou Starr, it's a good day from Alaska. Well, every day is a good day in Alaska, whether it's overcast or not. And we are talking about one thing, and that is guerrilla publicity. What is guerrilla publicity? That's the first question. And for all you what learners, you know, if you want to know what by definition, a little academic, right? Listen carefully, grab your pens, because here's the answer. Jill?
Guerrilla publicity is using time and imagination instead of a ton of money to drive your prospects and to get more visibility for your business. By the term guerrilla, we mean time and energy. We don't mean, like Alex said in the intro, paying $5,000, $10,000 a month for a PR firm. No way, Ray. We're talking about getting you simple, easy tactics, replicatable systems for getting your publicity out there. That's what guerrilla publicity is.
And the beauty of doing it for free is that the only way is up. You make profit. But I'm going to ask you another question of how accountable is it? Can you measure the results from guerrilla publicity before I ask you why it's so relevant?
Well, you know, it's interesting about publicity. It is sometimes an immeasurable science to a certain extent, but let me share with you some really specific results, because what I see again and again with all of the clients I work with, people who are in my publicity guerrilla systems, is, for instance, one client using guerrilla publicity did a radio show and got 15 calls in the next, I think it was 20 minutes. 15 calls, prospects, real people who wanted to buy their product in 15 minutes. So that's powerful. One of the clients who had one article in the Chinese Times using what I like to call everything he's got. He didn't even speak Chinese, but he is Asian American, and we translated his article into Chinese, put it to the Chinese Times. Now, he's a consultant, and you know what happened for him? He got 9, count them, 9 prospects. That translated into thousands of dollars immediately for him within a 90-day period. That's great. And as far as I'm concerned, you know, even those two, and I can tell you many, many more, now we're talking about measurable stats and real results, because that's what you need, real results. That's what we're after.
Well, here's what's interesting. We're getting fewer and fewer people, Jill, to watch us on Google+. Now, I am the only person I know personally. If there's someone else who's done it, please get a hold of me, because I want to learn from you. I will pay you. But I'm the only one I know who has a course that's made 7 figures in the time that it's been out about Google Hangouts and how to make more money, getting more exposure, more credibility, more publicity with Google Hangouts, and how to convert and monetize Google Hangouts into money. So I have a course, and it's Hangout Marketing Training, and that course has made me kind of like the Hangout guy. I've been on national TV and local TV, but here's the thing. Less and less people are watching me on G+. Why? Because they're watching the same show that's simulcast on Facebook. Really? Yeah, watchonfb.com is people are watching us from Facebook. Hello. There are people watching us on a YouTube channel right now at my YouTube channel, watching it live, and they are contacting each other and having a different social conversation there. They're watching us at marketingonlinehangout.com, which is my website, or the G Plus page, which most of you are, and you're talking to each other. So you are a fraction of the total market. The majority of people right now are watching it from the Marketing Online app. So that's a publicity tip. The iTunes App Store, just type in Marketing Online, you download an app, talk about power. Jill, we've had over 200 downloads in the last week, and people are watching you right now from the palm of their hand. You were the first person to be interviewed after the app was downloaded. So congratulations. We wanted to do it in honor of someone who does publicity. We knew that this event was coming up. Why you? What gives you the right to talk about publicity? I know why, but tell everyone else. And don't be, I mean, it's going to sound a little boastful, but don't be humble about it. I want them to know what gives you the right to talk about this stuff.
Well, thank you, Alex. And as far as what right, well, let me first say that publicity for over years. I had a public relations agency where I every single day pitching in the trenches. I started in the music business, and you want what people think about you, the music business. It's all guerrilla publicity, headballs, everything toward people and their music. So that was a terrific experience. And I also have written 3, count them 3, not 1, not 2, yes, 3 books. My first book was actually called Guerrilla Publicity. And I wrote that with our wonderful J. Conrad Levinson, who we honor and bless, who has since passed on to heaven. Well, after we wrote Guerrilla Publicity, and of course, being a publicity maven, I did everything in my power to drive publicity of that book. We have sold over 85,000 copies, and that's pretty amazing in today's world. My publisher, when we did that, said, "Hey, Jill, you've done really great with publicity. What's your next book?" Well, and being a connecting queen, which I love to do, and it gives me great joy to connect people, is I wrote Networking Magic. And that book went #1 on actually several lists because of joint ventures and great relationships and my own publicity. So you got to always do your own publicity and keep your name out there because of relationships like the one Alex and I have for many, many years, and all the people who you will serve and who will then help you too. So in addition to all that, 3 books. My next book was Get Noticed, Get Referrals on McGraw-Hill. And then I now help people teaching publicity crash courses, and I consult, and I speak all over the world, Australia, New Zealand, coming up in South Africa, and all kinds of other wonderful places.
Well, those of you, if you heard Jill cut out because of the connection, I'll just repeat it in case you didn't hear. She was in the music business, and publicity in the music business is kind of like the ancient mythological character Sisyphus, who's rolling this huge boulder up a mountain and never gets to the top. I mean, nothing is tougher than the music business, which until recently, I'm talking a decade ago, was almost like a mafia type of industry. Steve Jobs broke that up and democratized it and liberated it with iTunes, but it's very, very difficult to make it in the music business. And today, good publicity, I have a friend who's a YouTube maven. I mean, this guy is amazing, as Sandra Bravo says. And I'm just going to call him out. His name is Daryl Eves. And I want to introduce him to you, Jill. He's a YouTube guy. And he found a group of women with red hair. And they're a music group. Now, how do you break in, how many Justin Biebers are there going to be? How do you break into the music business today? Well, what he did is he used guerrilla publicity on YouTube as just one source. Now think about this as a case study. And what would you do to attract people to your concert if you have 4 redheads singing? You make it only for redheads. People are dyeing their hair red, and you have this sea of redheads. And it's not just about having red hair. It's about people admitting that they were bullied because they had red hair or they were poked fun of. And this group has red hair. They're attracting people with red hair, and they have a movement. They have a crusade because one person, Daryl, thought that it would be a good idea, and I'm sure he had other people collaborating with him, to invite redheads to a concert, and everyone identified with that, and look what happens almost overnight, thanks to guerrilla publicity. So imagine if you could do the same in your market. Imagine if you have an affinity for something. Tall people, short people, Armenians, Jews, Italians, it doesn't matter. Europe, you can have any kind of niche possible. People who wear glasses. How about octogenarians, a marketing community on Google Plus just for people over the age of 80? Okay, would that be interesting? In fact, we would kind of feel left out, right, in that case. So think about that. How about divorced dads? Wouldn't that be cool? Or single dads, right? So these are great affinities. Toughest job in the world, I think, is a single mom, right? And so what if you could attract people like that? That is all about publicity. We know why guerrilla publicity is important, but why do you think, why is it so relevant today? We know it works. We know it's important. Why is it relevant? Because it's not a launch. It's not you just do it once and then you set it and forget it. You got to keep doing it. So why is it so relevant, Jill?
Well, it's interesting. I got hired by the Philips Corporation. They got a lot of money, honey, for marketing, for public relations. Why they hire an expert in guerrilla publicity? Because the truth is the tactics that I deliver and that guerrilla publicity delivers to you is about using impactful, often quick, focused, simple, and frankly affordable kinds of publicity, well, we'll call them tactics, that really support the business. And so why is it relevant? Because everybody needs it. If you're watching this Google Hangout, you're smart, you're a person who's competent, capable, and invested in your business. And I'm going to say that if you want to get more business, you want people to know you, know your name, and create that, well, I've heard of him somewhere syndrome, or I recognize that name, I know her name somewhere syndrome. Guerrilla publicity is your best friend. It's easy, it's fast, it's, well, inexpensive, and most of all, it will keep your name in front of people. It will keep your name in front of people. I'm talking about your company, your product, your service, what you do. And, my friends, if you don't keep your name in front of people, meaning your business, they're going to forget about you. And let me just give you a great example of that, like celebrities. If you think they do a movie, I just want to sit in a media room, in a hotel room for more than 14 hours at a time doing big interviews, and the media parades in and out all day long, all for 14 to 15 hours, really no kidding. And that's the interviews you see in the media. And you're going, but Jill, they're celebrities. Well, let me tell you, if they don't do those media interviews, they're out of your mind. They're gone. They're toast. And it's somebody else whose name you're going to recognize. So in the music business, in the film business, in every entertainment business, you notice that you keep hearing about those celebrities again and again and again. They'll make a movie. All of a sudden, they're on every single show, TV show, radio show. That's publicity. And the reason they are is that so their name, is recognizable to you.
All right, I want to acknowledge a few more people who have checked in. I will acknowledge you, but be prepared, folks, for this answer. What is your favorite G publicity tip? You're about to hear a bunch of them, because I'm going to ask Jill, how does guerrilla publicity work step by step? You may be saying, yeah, sure, I've heard of it, I've seen it, I've done, I've even tried it. Okay, that is your enemy right there. That voice, your little voice, as Blair Singer, my good friend, says. That little voice inside is your enemy if that's what you're saying to yourself right now. Dink that voice off one shoulder and the other shoulder and say, yeah, I can do this. I'm about to learn something for free. And then you can vote which one is your favorite. And listen, doing is what matters. You're a human being, but the writing of a publicity artifact or a marketing document, that's the doing part of thinking. So thinking and feeling is not enough. Doing. Now, who's doing stuff here? Well, CL Webb, hanging out from Incline Village. I'm here to learn at least one strategy or tactic I can implement. Well, you're going to get a bunch. Get ready for the Gatling gun approach. Welcome, everyone, on Facebook, on Twitter, if you've clicked through there, on the Marketing Online app. Welcome. Let us know you're watching from there. Marie Janine says hello from Antwerp, Belgium. Sylvia Moss is hanging out from New York City. This is great, she says. Hi, Alex. And Jill Capiz from Omaha. Melinda Bernstein, bless your success and ours too. Yes. Agnesia from Johannesburg, South Africa. Glad to be here. Edward Philippe from Long Beach, California. I'm talking all these places, and then we talk Long Beach. Now, Long Beach is where the TED seminar is. You know, the big TED events at TED. So Long Beach, it went from Monterey to TED. So Long Beach is a hot, hot place. Alex Cabrera from Fergus Falls, Minnesota. Elwood Smith, J. Elwood Smith from Mesa, Arizona. And then Paladin Webb from Burbank, California. That's where my dad lives. Of course, it's right next to Glendale. Glendale has more Armenians than the capital of Armenia, so of course he lives there. Carolyn Owens, how to gain more exposure with Guerrilla Publicity. Carolyn, listen carefully. Karen Hassick from Hesperia, California. I know where that is. That's a beautiful high desert. And Tim Schlecht, and he's saying this is so true. This meaning everything we've said, I assume. So let's get ready. How does Guerrilla Publicity work? Bring it on, Jill. Come on, you're on the chopping block. We're going to be judging you for the next 10 minutes. How does it work?
Oh boy, we don't have to go to the refrigerator and get supplies now, do we?
No,
okay.
We don't. No, and no bladder break. No going to the restroom. Listen carefully, even though there's a replay. Give it to me. What are the tactics and tips people can make money on now?
Oh, you got it. I just want to make sure that chopping block is off my block, because I'm going to give you the most valuable tips right now. Listen up, folks, and get a pen or paper, as Alex said. So the first thing is to create a powerful message. A message. Okay, look at that word message. If you circle the first 2 letters, it spells me. If you circle the last 4 letters of message, it spells sage. And in fact, if you circle the first 4 letters of message, it spells mess. That's what happens if you don't have your message intact. But if you look at the word sage, it's all about taking your wisdom out to the public eye. So that's the power of publicity. First, we get your message. I'll tell you a great tactic for getting your message. First, you figure out what is the problem out there. Create a problem out there using statistics. Because I'll tell you, when I wrote Guerrilla Publicity, the media wants to know what are the statistics that their readers, their viewers, and their listeners care about. That's what we want to know, my friends. So create a problem solution formula as an expert, and one problem, and give us three solutions for how to get, well, you fill in the blank based on your expertise. So that's really powerful. That's the second step. The third step is create a press release. A press release, I like to send them out, well, you know, I'll tell you, no less than once a quarter. Depending on you, sometimes once a week. It really depends what's possible. But what I don't want you being is a boy who cried wolf. You know, not too many, not too much hoo-hoo-hoo, like, don't give real value, real benefit, just like we're doing here. Give them real value and real benefit. Once you send out those press releases, I want you to do follow-up. That's F-U, 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 follow-up, 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 at least 7 times. That's what we like, 7, rule of 7, and that means you stay on the media, my friends, in good ways, in powerful ways.
Wait a minute, I gotta interrupt you. I heard 7, and 7 kind of looks like a 1, so I want to make sure I didn't hear it incorrectly. You're saying follow up 7 times. Isn't there a difference between being persistent and a pest? That's going through the minds of people listening right now. How do you do it, Jill?
Okay, you're right. You did hear 7 because, you know, if you look at sales, I mean, they say often 9 times for follow-up. Well, publicity is sales. Can we just talk? You got to call reporters, interviewers, producers, and this includes blogs and social media, and frankly, stay on them to include you. So what does that mean? Email follow-up. I like the phone because people aren't hearing people anymore. Get them in the heart. Talk to them. So get them involved. I think it's really key to do the follow-up. Send them an email. Get them on Facebook. That can all count as follow-up. And You know, here's what I want to say about the being a pest piece. I want you to be a terrier in publicity, not a pit bull, but a terrier. What does that mean? Take people and nip them in their heels, nip them in the heels, nip them in the heels. See, that's a nip, 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 nip. That's a nip. And I want you to nip them in their heels. Don't bite them on the leg, okay? You're always nice. You're always nice. You're kind. You're easy to talk to. I remember when I had a PR agency, I had one reporter tell me, you know, Jill, why I always take, be nice, play nice, but be a terrier, stay on them.
All right, I want you to be a Jack Russell. I want you to be a hyperactive terrier that not only jumps, but nips him at the heels. Nips, nips, nips. Don't take a pound of flesh. Just go, ooh, ooh, ooh. And they always know you're there, and they shake their head. They go, okay, fine. Now, this is what you're going to see. Fine. That means yes. Now, are you willing to trade embarrassment for wealth? Are you willing to trade the potential of looking bad in public for wealth and riches you've always dreamed about? The proportion of your success is directly related to how often you're willing to look bad in public. It ain't going to kill you. It's not going to risk your health. It may cause a little embarrassment if you guess wrong. And I believe if you're playing to win, you're either winning or growing. I used to think you were learning, but I think growing is impotent compared to growing. If you're not growing, you're dying. So the bottom line of what Jill's talking about is these little tactics and tips, which we'll go back to now, 7 times, not 4, not 3, not 2, not 1, not 6, 7 times, and then move on. Now, is 7 the magic number? Of course not. How big is the universe? I have no idea. Is it expanding? They tell me it is. Well, are we the only living human beings in the universe? I have no idea, nor is it relevant. But that's the same kind of question you're asking. Is 7 the right number? Who knows? It's an art and a science, but is 7 better than 6? Yes. Is it more manageable than 10? Yes. Actually, is it less of annoyance than 8? Yes. And 8 is infinity if on its side. So 7 is the number you're getting. Use it 7 times and then move on to the next tip. So give me some other tips, Jill. So far, so good. And we're going to give a tip and a gift in about 4 minutes. So that's coming directly from you. Stay tuned because we're going to give you a domain that I'm not going to show you. It's marketingonline.com/something. It's /something. You can't see it, okay? But you're going to get something very valuable in a moment. So give me some more tips. Go for it.
Oh, I got one that's going to help you create the I've heard of you somewhere syndrome that I mentioned earlier. It's about familiarity, repeatability, credibility, trust in the marketplace. Remember, that's what you're building with your publicity so that you become the #1 source. When people think about fill in the blank, they're going to think about you. So hot tip is to send out an announcement every 60 days. Now, that's not a press release. What an announcement is, if you open up your local business journal, they have them all across the nation and internationally too. If you look at that, there's usually a section called People or People in the News. I really want you in it every 60 days. You're going to send out an announcement about something. Perhaps you were on a board of directors. Perhaps you just launched a website, a new campaign, a new coaching program. You created some kind of new something. You moved offices. You hired a new staff member. All of that counts as announcements. Send them out every 60 days. Here's the kind of system I'm talking about. It is completely free. F-R-E-E, my favorite 4-letter word. Free for you and great for you to create that ongoing visibility. So hot stuff, go do it and start that soon. The other thing I want to share that people forget about is networking. Networking is highly effective, and I say that because it is powerful publicity. And the thing I told you about your message, use the message with the problem-solution formula in your networking going out. In fact, I'll tell you, one of my, actually she's a speaker, she has a huge kind of audience and very well known, and you know, she came in, took my publicity course. We actually did the product piece of her solution problem formula. She went to the local Chamber of Commerce and she told me that for the first time ever she got 50 cards. 50 cards. You know why? Because she was concise, clear, and precise. So make sure that you're going out to your networking, to your communities, that you have familiarity in your community and that people know you. Because you know what's interesting now? People want a little more what we call, or what I call at least, belly-to-belly marketing. They want to see your eyes. They want to know your face. That's why Google Hangouts works so well, because people can actually see you, feel you, get your energy, know you more. So definitely stay out in your communities at least twice a month. It's a powerful publicity tactic.
All right, and we want to welcome one more time Jason Crossert from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Thanks for today's hangout, Jason says. And Mina Watkins, Marie, I believe Jill said create a problem solution formula. We'll get to Jill on that. That's what you heard, problem solution. You can call it predicament resolution. You can call it pain promise. You can call it whatever you want, but it's point A, point B. And you want my advice on something? Focus on point A longer, because you can't motivate anyone to say yes to you. You can only get pre-motivated people to come to you. That's called prospecting and pre-qualifying. And the reason you feel rejection is you haven't pre-qualified enough. You're talking to the wrong people, or they're not ready. I had a friend of mine trying to sell me life insurance when I was 17 years of age. What do I need life insurance for? I didn't have 2 nickels to rub. My parents were paying for my college education, and I was wasting most of it on partying. Well, fast forward 20 years, and I bought a $1 million policy and then upped it. Why? Because it was a relevant message to me. So if you're irrelevant now, you may be relevant later. You got to be in the mix of things every 60 days, Jill says, so that you become relevant. What's not relevant today may be relevant tomorrow. And whether it's predicament, resolution, problem, solution, pain, promise, whatever you want to call it, everyone calls it something different. It's point A, point B. Give someone an experience. If people are very worried about what's happening overseas right now, flying over certain parts of the world, that is pain. You can talk about that and relate that to your story. As dangerous as flying over, and just pick a country that's in the news. You can borrow publicity. Speak to that for a moment, Jill, because there's publicity all around and people aren't borrowing it for free.
Oh, I love this. So here's the thing. You got to be watching the news, reading the newspapers, see what is hot. So for instance, when the tragedy happened with the children, a psychologist who specialized in children's issues. Trauma was one of her specialties. Did I completely get to the press immediately with her as the front messenger, the front person who could deliver great value and benefit and give heartfelt advice to people who were traumatized? You bet. That got her on CNN. Now we're talking. So watch the media, see what's happening. How do you fit in? How does what you know slide into first base so that your face is the one featured on the major media? That's what we want, your face featured on major media.
Well, talking about faces, look at her. She is on my Facebook page now. I got nearly 70,000 fans, and this is on my feed. There is Jill. This is happening in real time. It looks like she has the same background. She does. It looks like she's wearing the same earrings. She is. This is real time. You know, sometimes publicity can be just changing a picture. Jill, you have said this to me. Other people have said this, mostly women. Guys don't say this to me. They say, Alex, you should change your picture online. So guess what? I did 48 hours ago. This is the new picture. And I've gotten more comments on a picture from men and women than from my posts that make $1 million. So what's the deal here? I mean, is publicity really that easy, yes or no?
It is that easy, Alex. You saw it. You saw it in the picture, for example. People like to comment on real things. And so one thing I'm big on is use who you are. Use what's real for you. Use what's authentic for you. I like to call it use everything you've got. So if I have an African-American coach, we're going to black media. right? I have a Christian client, we're going to go to Christian media. Use all aspects of who you are. And if it's your photo, if it's your children, if it's your dog, let's use it, because your publicity is really the power of publicity. You know, it's interesting, Alex, speaking of animals, my God, they work so well. You know, I remember when my little Luna passed away this year. She's a little kitty of mine. And I have now 4, but she passed away in February, and I posted it on Facebook. Do you know I got 161 likes? Now, Alex, to be honest, I hadn't gotten 161 likes in about a week before that on any publicity tip I'd given, but people love animals. So use all aspects of who you are. I was just sharing me, sharing something about my life. For you, use what you've got so that your story can go further, farther, wider. That's key, and it does work. People pay attention to the little things, and I like the picture too, Alex.
Well, thank you. It's you alive. Now, I'm going to give you a few other tips, but here it's not an ethical bribe, because we're not bribing you with anything. You may be wondering, what are they selling? You may be wondering that. This is not a sales event. This is a publicity event to see if you will eventually buy something from us. Are you with me? Now, do you know why people don't buy from you? I'll tell you why. If they're not buying what you sell, you know why? The number one reason they're not buying from you. You may think it's the message to market match, as Dan Kennedy has taught many, many years. It may be the climate, or it may be you're in the wrong medium. No, none of that. You want to know the root cause? I'm talking root cause. Here's a marketing totem. This is an acorn. People who have this around their neck have paid over $8,000 to own this thing, which I don't know how much it costs, but I know it costs less than $5. I'm pretty sure. It has value. It's a totem. It's a symbol. And I'm going to tell you the number one reason why you don't sell products, if you don't sell products, is you don't buy. You're a mirror. If you are frugal and you don't buy continuing education, you are not going to sell continuing education. If you're in the food business and you don't buy food from your competitors, you're not going to sell food. If you're not a buyer, you're not going to be a seller, because you are attracting people just like you, just as frugal, and just like someone saying, what are they selling? I'm not going to listen to them, right? Now, if you have that attitude, no problem. I used to have that attitude, but then when I stopped having it and I started buying, and I paid more money for continuing education than I had food, and that happened on a park bench in MacArthur Park in Los Angeles, California, I was willing to pay my final dollar, beyond final dollar, to learn, because with food it's digested, and it ends up somewhere, right, where we don't want to think about. With an idea, it can end up and turn into a palace, an idea, a blueprint. The Golden Gate Bridge was an idea. So if you're not selling, it's because you're not buying. So buy from your competitors. See the way they deliver. See what they're doing to publicize. And if you want to learn how to publicize yourself, then simply go to marketingonline.com/Jill. Now, I'm getting publicity, and so is Jill. I'm not going to ask you for an opt-in, as if you would even open the email when I sent it to you. For today's email, less than 20% of the people even opened it. Like, email is worth something these days. 80% of the people aren't even opening the email. You know what's more powerful than email? A Google Calendar that pops up and says, hey, you RSVP'd, and here's a Google Hangout. You know what's more powerful than email? An application, an app online. You know what's more powerful than email right now? Text, mobile text. You know, giving a keyword and then having this text, because you will open this, won't you? Now, will those get old after a while? Of course they will. Has email died? No, it's not dead, it's dying. You can't only focus on email. That is the truth. And if you are only focusing on email, I hope you and I compete. I hope. Because you won't be eating and I will. I used to think email was the thing. I stopped eating because I stopped making money. So now it's multi-channel. And if you go to marketingonline.com/Jill, you will get a resource which, Jill, I want you to talk about. What are they getting there? Because they don't have to download anything. And, you know, I'm asking you to publicize yourself without an opt-in for that reason alone. We're selling something the next time, not the first time. So what are they getting with this resource?
Well, what you're getting is step-by-step publicity system tips, really the kind of value that's going to make your business shine. So I'm going to give them to you in distinct systematic approaches through 2 different speeches I'm doing, so definitely enjoy it. You will see the benefits immediately of great things that you can do and implement quickly. That's what we're about. Speed matters, fun on fundamental matters, and making your business shine. That's my commitment to you.
All right, so here's a publicity tip for you. Now, I have an app, and I just got 200 downloads. Big deal. It's not going to, feed a family, but we started. An acorn turns into a giant oak. A redwood seed turns into a redwood. What I decided to do on Facebook is, on my fan page, I decided to put the app logo so I would get top-of-mind awareness. That's on my fan page. And the reason it's there is because this is my business page. Now, I have 75,000 likes. That's something. Now, I think Facebook is making a terrible mistake, making us pay for more publicity. And I think Mark Zuckerberg, billionaire or not, is going to pay for it. I think they are going to have the same fate as MySpace in about 5 years from now. But I hope not, because I happen to like Facebook. But what they're doing is they're making us pay for more publicity. Facebook was not meant to be an advertising medium. I think they're changing much too quickly. Right? So what I've done is I said, okay, well, then I'll go to my fan page, and I'm not going to put my picture there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my app logo. So that's what it looks like. And so when people go to the iTunes App Store and they download Marketing Online, now that app, by the way, Jill, this was designed by Dr. Alan Weinstein, who's going to be probably in this hangout in a few minutes because I'm going to invite people in. Now, when you download an app like this, and if you have an app for yourself, make sure it stands out on your phone. So if you look at all the apps you have on your phone, I'm going to show you mine. It stands out. Why? Check it out. I'm gonna go to my screen now so you see it. Check out my phone. When you look how that app stands out. Facebook, yawn. Google Plus, yawn. iTunes, yawn. Calculator, yawn. 200,000 quotes, yawn. But look at MOL app stands out. It's just like, it's boom. And that's what you want. You want to stand out. You want to be the sore thumb. So I'm going to ask you to come into this hangout right now. We're going to give you a link to click on. Justin, Sue, and who? Justin, Sue, and Sandra, they are engaging with you right now. You know this if you're out there. And if you're on the Marketing Online app and you can't come in, then just listen and watch. But we're going to have people come in and ask Jill some questions. Jill, what if people started using publicity? What are some of the mistakes that most people make that I want you to cover very quickly?
Oh, sure. The mistake is not to be clear and, have a soundbite that could be 30 seconds or less. The other mistake they make, most people, is that you're not giving real value and benefit. I'm going to tell you, I remember Fast Company. I interviewed the editor for Guerrilla Publicity, and she said, oh, Jill, I get 200 calls a day. I'm getting voicemail messages off the yin-yang. I'm getting posts, social media, Facebook. I can't keep up with it. If somebody is clear and concise, focused, and gives real value to my readers and that they care about our readers, I'm going to feature them. You want to be featured in Fast Company. So she said something that I thought was really good. Keep the concierge approach going. Make it easy and simple for the media to love you, to find you, and more importantly, to actually interview you. So fast and keep it speedy, but get to the point, because realizing that most media interviews are only 6 to 8 minutes. That's really fast, my friends, so you got to get in there quickly.
And then the other thing is be convenient. When they call you, jump at the chance. Now,
the other mistake they make, most people, is that you're not giving real value and benefit. I'm going to tell you, I remember Fast Company. I interviewed the editor for Guerrilla Publicity, and she said, oh, Jill, I get 200 calls a day. I'm getting voicemail messages off the Indian.
I don't know if you can hear that, but that is you, and you are time delayed about 10 seconds because that's the app. That's how powerful this is if you're convenient. If they want to download the app, let them. If they want to watch on Facebook, let them. If they want to watch on YouTube or Marketing Online Hangout, let them. If someone from the media calls you, you get on that show, Jill. True or false?
Oh, yes, honey. If they are calling you, you are the choice, your top choice. And I'm going to tell you something. If you're available, you're on. I remember the the Wall Street Journal small business editor called me when Guerrilla Publicity came out. It was 5:30 my time, 8:30 hers. Guess who answered the phone? I'm going to tell you, Alex, 5:30 in the morning is not my time of day, but I knew we had PR out. I knew I had to be on the ready, on the go, and the go-to girl. So it was my job to be receptive and quick, and you must be on the go and ready to pick up and get on an airplane and get on the phone with a sound bite that matters and a message that's powerful.
Okay, now, I have a question, actually a comment and a question. Mina Watkins says, I love you, Jill Lublin, plus Jill Lublin. She knows what she's doing, Mina. You have helped me and my business so much, and I know the people here will get a ton of value from you. I would say, Mina, now we have demonstrated what you are saying, so thank you. Jill, do you know Mina, yes or no?
Of course, she's been one of my clients. Hi, Mina. Love you too.
Okay, awesome. I just want to make sure that we're connecting. And then also, this is really cool. This is not an oxymoron. Tantric rabbi. That is not an oxymoron. So Melinda Bernstein, Melinda, I want to meet you, okay? How do I, as a tantric rabbi, you already guerrilla-ized your business. She goes, how do I guerrilla-ize my message when I'm with unique teachings that religion world does not respect and the sex world doesn't understand? I want to be what she's being. I mean, I'll have what he's having or she's having. I mean, I want to do what she's doing. So what would you say to her? I think she's in a great situation. Jill, what are your thoughts?
Well, Melinda, all I can say is I wish I had thought of it first. I mean, this is the most unique, unusual guerrilla label I have heard. And don't worry about the fact that, one, the religious community, the Jewish community understands you, that the community understands you, spiritual community might understand you. I would tell you to move over a few communities, a few labels, and frankly give your label a new definition, because you're creating a whole new, it's like creating a whole new word, a whole new definition of what is Tantric Rabbi. That's cool. Just get people asking about it, talking about it. Now we've got a conversation going.
Yeah, and you know what I would do? I would go after people who've been excommunicated, or I would go after people who are completely outside of the tribe. Because if the tribe doesn't accept you, who said it has to be about Judaism or Tantra? It's a way of thinking, and so you're bringing in two completely different worlds, which really have the same underlying cause and theme. I mean, if you think about it, cause and effect, they both mean the same thing, is, ongoing life, proliferating life. And so it's just in the meaning that we give people. Like, for example, this is a totem, right? And this is a totem. This is a totem. This is an indigo bracelet that people pay $25,000 to get, okay? It cost me 50 cents each. It's indigo, and it says "Seize Your Life," Carpe Vitae, right? This is a little totem that my nephew made for me, and there's no greater honor when a family member is named after you. He is Alex Petrosians. He's my sister and my brother-in-law's son. And then, of course, we can't forget Grace, who's also out there. I can't forget that. This is a totem for time integrity. This is a mundane watch. It cost over $200. People who paid $50,000 got that. Yet, guess what? Okay, and this is not to be offensive, but it may offend a few because it's so powerful. Like when you say rabbi and you say tantric, tantric doesn't mean sex, by the way. It means secret. So when you put rabbi and tantric together, it doesn't seem like they go. Well, the swastika that Hitler used was a totem, but it's a symbol for fortune. After there's so much negative publicity on an image that was supposed to be fortune, look it up on Wikipedia, it changes form and it's unspeakable. It's unthinkable. And it has residue. It lasts for a long, long time. So publicity, bad publicity, is just as difficult to wear off as good publicity. Look what happened to Tiger Woods. I don't think all publicity is good publicity. I think you can lose billions of dollars if you have bad publicity, and that's what happened with Tiger Woods. So, Jill, we're going to go to questions right now. do you want to say anything else besides that before I go to Dr. Allen, who I knew would be here?
Well, I do want to say that you better be thinking about your publicity before you need it. You always need publicity, so take baby steps now and think of publicity like a gardening process. You got to plant seeds, and in different times, your PR results will grow. You will need publicity in different ways at different times, but here's the deal. If you're in business, you need it. And I want you to keep gardening because, for instance, Entrepreneur Magazine, and they were featured in Guerrilla Publicity. When I interviewed the editor there, she said to me, Jill, our people are 6, 9, and 12 months ahead of the issues being out. So long-term magazines, for instance, work long-term. You got to think about 6, 9, and 12 months out. TV and radio, think 3 to 6, 9 months out. So keep thinking ahead and plant your seeds now.
Okay, and if you go to marketingonline.com/Jill, you will get this page, extra bonus gift from Jill. It's gifts, plural. And you'll see that you can download it. You don't need an opt-in, an email, because you're not going to open the email anyway, right? And we're going to go to questions now. And before we do, you've noticed I've worn 3 different hats. I don't know if you've noticed. They're all totems of mine. These are my productivity hats. So I put them there. I put them on for a reason, just so you see. I get different publicity. Some people wear different color socks and like crazy socks with tuxedos or suits. That's their publicity totem. It's not a gimmick. If it works, it's not a gimmick. So, Dr. Allen, welcome. And you are the resident smuggler, as Jill and I are. We smuggle really, really well. What are you smuggling today?
Well, I want to smuggle first. I want to say that Melinda's question actually came from the Marketing Online app that she downloaded that I actually posted now in the chat and on the comments section of Facebook. So we're getting questions now from the app. So we're getting engagement from there, which is fantastic. I want to remind everybody, if they download the Marketing Online app in the App Store, they could be automatically enrolled in our contest to win their own Marketing Online or VIP apps, as we call them. So I wanted to say that, and then I had 2 questions that I wanted to ask. And
hang on. We have a word, prayergasm. Prayergasm? or how about dreidelgasm?
Yeah, that was from Melinda, not me.
Okay. I think that's a heck of a... I mean, that's cross-denominational, prayergasm. And by the way, when I'm saying this, I am extremely devout in my beliefs. So I'm not poking fun at anything, anyone, or anybody, okay? But prayergasm, I think if you're Christian, Jewish, if you're Muslim background, I don't care what you believe in. I mean, that's pretty darn good. That has a lot of stickability. Jill, what are your thoughts about that?
I like it. It's very creative. It's something that, here's the deal. You got to stop people. Stop. You got to get them to think and go, whoa, what do you mean by that, prayergasm? What do you mean by that? What's a tantric rabbi? I mean, that's the point, is get people to stop and listen, and at least with the noise, they're going to pay attention to you. That's what we want.
Okay.
Paying attention to you.
Attention first, and then interest, and then, of course, desire and action. It's a 150-year-old formula. It still works. The tough part is getting the attention these days, which is why we're on this publicity kick, and it's guerrilla publicity. Dr. Allen, you're on the big screen. What are your questions? Go for it.
Yeah, well, I wanted to say one more thing. That, with our contest, all you have to do is tell us any unique, funny, different place that you are inside the app that you're watching the live hangout on the Marketing Online app. So if you're having a prayergasm while you're watching the Marketing Online app, put that in, click on that email icon. You could be our next winner of the app. Anyway, here are my 2 questions. So number 1 was, are questions more powerful messages than statements when you're going out there and doing your powerful message? Number 1.
Hang on. We'll do one at a time. Jill,
go.
Are questions more powerful, or is that a fair question?
It is a fair question, and what I want to say, what are you, a rabbi? But you got 4 Jews in a room and 5 questions. But besides that, what I would like to state about that is that questions are nice lead-ins. But for my problem solution formula, I want to say make a statement. And make a statement with a statistic, because you're dealing with media. They got to know why it's relevant, who it's about, how it affects people, what impact does it have, and what's the value and benefit for their people. When you're talking about that, it's much more interesting. Make statements, ask maybe one question. Most people ask too many, and then they get people off track, not knowing or thinking or understanding even your message, because they're off track trying to answer your question. So make a statement. It's better, and it's more commanding, and it's more expert.
Yeah. Alan, next question, quickly.
Yeah, are you using autoresponders for the 7 follow-ups, or are you doing anything one-on-one personal?
What I would tell you with my clients is I tell them I want them personal and customized, no autoresponders. So yeah, we actually customize a script and give the media something to talk about. Ooh, kiss, kiss.
Okay, so here's
Am I kissing myself?
No, you're kissing the rest of us. Now, here's a statement, but it really is a question. So, I just had a prayer-gasm. What is it? What is it, and how does it work? Well, watch us on our weekly hangout at 11:55 a.m. Pacific, 2:55 p.m. East Coast time, and no matter where you are at what time, let us know where you're watching from on the MOL app. Okay? So that's a pretty good, publicity stunt. I just did it. And by the way, if you're watching at marketingonline.com/event, if you're actually watching there, or if you want to watch there later, the replay will be there for a couple days, then please +1 us. I want 50 +1s before we're done. All right? We had 33 before we even started, which is pretty good. That's good publicity. So +1 us. Vic, I'm going to go to you. Unmute yourself. You got your hat on. You got your totem.
Yeah, I have a good hat on.
All right, your question. No laser.
Okay, so engagement. What I've observed is that you've got to have like the same message reaching out in multiple mediums. You have to email that same message. You have to tweet the message. You have to Facebook the message. Do you have any tips on how to get people's attention with this common message that we're trying to get across?
First of all, I want to acknowledge you, Vic. That was the clearest, most laser question I've heard on a hangout, not just from you, on a hangout since I started this. Thank you for that, Jill. It's all yours. That is a lob, and you better hit it out of the park. Go for it.
Well, thank you. And what I'm going to say is, in today's world, your message is, if it's crystal clear and it's concise and precise, those are the 2 things I really want you to keep in mind. If it's concise and precise, you can use it in every single medium. Most importantly, I want you to be consistent. So pay attention to everything Vic said, which is your message needs to go out on all those mediums. My advice is keep it consistent on every single medium, a lot less work for you, and a lot more understanding in your consumer's mind about what the message is. And then, frankly, wherever they look, it's all the same. That will really serve you.
Is that good for you, Vic? Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your favorite medium? I mean, do you tweet? I'm like watching America's Got Talent, and there's like Howie tweeting away, and that's been a medium I've found that I started getting involved in. Like you said numbers. We've had 24,000 impressions in the last week just from Twitter. Twitter is like a massive, massive way of getting the message out, and then we send people to Google+. But have you found a way to get, this digital medium? What's your preferred method?
Yeah, my preferred method is making sure my team members are doing every single darn thing they can. And honestly, in today's world,
I'm going to call you on that. I'm going to call you on that. What? It doesn't work. I'm going to make a statement, and I want Alex to back me up on this. People want to hear directly from you. They want to hear that you're tweeting, and they want to hear that it's your message, not your team's message.
So now we have a virtual battle for the first time, from the greatest question in the history of Hangouts to a virtual argument online. So we are getting publicity. Jill, what say you to Vic? Because I am just as guilty. Now I'm finally posting on Facebook, and people are noticing. So I know Vic is right, but at the same time, what do you say to him?
Okay, Vic, and you're right. I give you that. But the truth is, busy people need team. I have a great team. It's still my voice. I'm still giving real solutions. I'm still answering questions. I'm making comments. Not to everyone, by the way. I can't. I mean, honestly, if I sat on Facebook all day, I wouldn't be able to deliver publicity support and consultations to my client. I can teach all over the world and do the other things that God has gifted me to do. So I think sometimes we have to make some hard choices. I do choose to have team support me, and it's my voice, it's all my material, and most of the time and sometimes, and both are true, it's actually my words coming back at you.
All right, Vic, go ahead and mute out. Our final guest is from Italy, and what's interesting is I'm looking at him in the screen, and I went to St. Gregory Apostolic Church in my first 14 years living in Pasadena, California, and he reminds me of a spiritual figure in history. So I don't know. I'm just thinking he looks just very familiar. But this is Riccardo Romano. He's a video guy. You're in what city in Italy?
Yeah. Hi to all. I'm from Savona, Italy, next to Genova.
And your question?
Okay, my question for Jill is, before you cited a site, I didn't understand well the site for inserting every 60 days a news from us, and I want to know if the site and if it's suitable also for foreigner not native English speakers.
Okay, so to paraphrase, every 60 days you put out an announcement of some kind. So delineate and clarify what you meant. Is it on a website? Is it online? Is it in the newspapers? What happens every 60 days?
Okay, so what happens every 60 days is that announcement is going into, for instance, you might have a local business journal in Italy, in your town of Genoa, and certainly all over the United States, Canada, and actually many places international have some kind of business magazine. Look in there. There's usually a section. I also want you to put that announcement online in your social media. I want you to put that announcement into any associations that you're a member of, plus your alumni newsletter, wherever you went to university. In fact, I'll tell you, I was consulting with a medical doctor turned health coach and practitioner. Also got a book out, really dedicated to helping people with their health. And you know what's interesting? Through using this announcement, she got booked for 3 speaking engagements. She actually got a radio ongoing show. She ended up with a syndicated column. That all came through using the announcement strategy. So it's not a specific site, but it's specific to where you live in your neighborhood. That's what I want you to watch out for.
And I will say, between the market, the medium, and the message, those are the 3 M's, I think the single most important of the 3, if I had to choose, and I were willing to die for one of them, it would be the message. The message attracts the market. The message can attract the medium, and the message depends on the medium sometimes. Sending a text in the same long email way that you would send out a regular email doesn't work. People don't read it. So the medium does influence the message, but I believe Marshall McLuhan, who in 1964, the year I was born, said, he was a Canadian, brilliant guy, much more brilliant than I am, but he said the medium is the message. The message is the medium, and I don't agree. I think the message is the message, the medium is the medium, and the market is the market. And if I had to choose between the 3, I think what people are foggy about, unclear about, they may be foggy about their medium, what they're using, like Vic was saying, do you use Twitter and do you do it yourself? They may be foggy or not clear about their market and who's in it. Okay, just like Melinda, she may be foggy about that. But what they can't be foggy about, what they can't be unclear about, what they can't be fuzzy, because fuzzy targets don't get hit, is their message. They have to be crystal clear, and their message predicates, influences, belongs to the market. So the market will find the message. Let's do the final word. I'm going to start with Sue Susie. Now, she is in British Columbia, and she is one of our engagement folks that are here. She is soon to be the engagement queen as we move forward. She's doing it again and again. It's been crazy out there. Sue, tell us what's been happening there. You're on the big screen, and what's your final word? Tell us what's been going on, though. You've been having some fun.
Well, yeah, it's the commenting is going crazy today. It's awesome. I love seeing everybody getting so involved and so excited. My word is publicity. It's like growing a garden, and you got to keep planting your seeds. That was awesome. Thank you, Jill. That was you're great. Your energy is awesome.
Yeah, she is. She's a pro. She's a pro. Now, you know, Harvey McKay taught me, dig your well before you're thirsty. So that's a different way of stating, you know, plant your seeds. And Paladin, I see you here for the first time. I'm going to come to you. Get ready for the final word. Dr. Allen, final word.
I have to go with prayergasm.
Okay, you know what? It's a pretty damn good word. I'm going to go with Ricardo. What's your final word, brother?
I've got the same word that Sue says.
Okay, now Melinda's getting free publicity because prayergasm is a sticky, no pun intended, word. So that got some attention. Right now I'm really going to get some flames back and forth. So where's your mind going, first of all? Okay, no one's saying anything. What the focus are you thinking of right now? Okay? All right, so bottom line is this. Is publicity worthwhile? Yes. Is guerrilla publicity worthwhile? Yes. Are you using it? Probably not. So what are you complaining about? Go out there and do it. Sandra, you're in Gold Coast. You're about to meet me in Warsaw, Poland. We're going to be training for 5 days for T. Harv Ekers and Richard Tan and Veronica Tan's group. We'll be there with J.T. Fox and Joel Roberts. We just gave them free publicity, yes, and it's going to be Guerrilla Business Intensive. You'll be the assistant trainer. I said more in 30 seconds than I will for a long time. What's your final word?
My final word is Guerrilla, because of Jill's publicity and because of the training that we're about to do.
What kind of guerrilla? There are two kinds. There's the warrior who does the alternative tactics, and there's the monkey. Which one do you think?
The warrior one, of course.
The warrior. Okay, there's a warrior queen right there. Paladin, welcome. Go ahead and unmute yourself if you're muted, and what's your word?
Can you hear me?
I sure can. Welcome.
Oh, it's working. I'm delighted. My final word is a hyphenated word. Bush League Buzz.
Well, those are 3 words, and I'll take it. That's 3 parts, 1 word. Excellent. Bush League Buzz. And Jill, what's your final word?
My final word is be a sage in your message.
Okay, be your message. And I love the message piece. Okay, my final word is massage. Now, that's message with a little vibe to it, and I need a massage right now, so I'm going to go get some a foot massage at my favorite place in Novato, California, because I have a freebie. I've gotten 9 stamps, and I'm going to get the 10th one for free, so I'm going there. You know what I do? For good karma, there's a karmic echo. I hand that to someone who walks in, and I pay for my next massage. Why? Because for $35, why not? And that means something. And when they go to my car, they see marketing online in the back. Am I doing it for publicity? No, I'm doing it because it's fun. But do I get free publicity? I sure do. And so if you're watching, because you've seen me drive around with marketing online on the back, not only is it a tax deduction, but now it's on video, so the IRS has nothing on me. Thank you very much for watching. This is Alex Mondosian on behalf of Jill and the rest of us. Jill Lublin, thank you so much for joining us. Let us know if you want to see us together again, and if I can market to Jill's tribe and Jill can market to mine, let us know, yes, yes, or no, and we will abide by your wishes. All good wishes. Jill, say hi to everyone at eWomen's Network, okay?
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.